Corruption is stripping the people of this country of their human rights. That's according to President Cyril Ramaphosa, who's just finished delivering the National Human Rights Day message in the Northwest. The President has sent a message warning those who are involved in corruption that they will be removed from public office, I should say. Our reporters, Pelane, Phakgadi and Bafedile Moerane, have been monitoring developments there. Let's take you to Bafedile first. Bafedile, in fact, let's go to Pelane first. Pelane, let's pick up on the point I was just talking about, the issue of corruption as addressed by the President and how he says that is stripping people of their human rights.
Because when there is corruption, issues around economic viability just goes throughout the window, and the President believes that only if there is less corruption, in fact there is no corruption, and as well as the issue of incompetence is dealt with, then people will be able to start reaping the fruits of the democracy that we live in 28 years later in this country. So the President was very much vocal about it and saying that those who are corrupt should first go out the door, and they should also be on the lookout, because law enforcement will be hot on their heels. And President Cyril Ramaphosa not really mincing his words when he was talking about the issue that state capture has also to blame on the issue of the joblessness that we find ourselves in the current state, because there were only a certain number of people who wanted to benefit at the cost of the country, and those who perhaps would have enjoyed employment from certain entities if they were not dealt with. You do remember what had happened on the allegations around the Estina farm project there in the Free State. It just showed to say that there were some kind of projects which were supposed to benefit the people on the ground, but ended up benefiting allegedly only a few select. And that is part of the state capture that the President was talking about here. He went on as well to talk about the issues around how they need to revitalize the third and the tertiary institutions in the area, the tertiary firms that you once would find yourself in the area, that is the beneficiation arenas, all the way to the Rustenburg area, because that will give you an indication of how the firms had closed down over the years, and only their reopening would be able to reignite some economic activity in the Northwest and Koster, to be exact. And as well, I think one important factor that I think it is important to highlight is the issue around the violence against the LGBTQIA plus community, including violence against women and children. He said that the Constitution bases inherent rights to all people who live in the country, regardless of how they want to be specified as, or how they then want to be referred to, and therefore whoever who the perpetrators are should refrain completely from violating against basic human rights to who they still find, whether they like them or not. So those, I think, I believe those are some of the top things that come from the President, and those are some of the things I believe that the President would wanted to have pushed his messaging across, so that the people here, not only in the Northwest, but the country at large, as we commemorate the Human Rights Day in the country, comes to, and the fact that he believes that there's still movement that can be done in order to recover economically in the country. We're looking at the issues around Russia and Ukraine that is happening at this current stage. He did also have to mention that the prices of petrol may be going out, the prices of food may be going out, all seemingly because of the war that is going ahead in Ukraine and Russia, and that will bear some sort of significance negatively on the country, while we try to collectively move out from the devastation that COVID-19 has caused here in South Africa and elsewhere in the globe.
Pelane, hold on for us. Let's go to Bafedile Moerane, who's also outside that venue in the Northwest, where the National Human Rights Address has been delivered by President Ramaphosa. And Bafedile, you are very familiar with communities in the Northwest, and often when a holiday such as Human Rights Day comes across, you hear the messages from the President and other politicians about the strides that have been made in ensuring a better life for all. But do the people there feel much has been delivered?
Well, we've heard the President there indicating, Tembekile, to say that corruption in particular It is the one delaying the progress in also bettering the situation of the people on the ground. We've been in this particular place, which is Koster, in the past week, and we engaged with community members who precisely emphasized on the issues of service delivery, saying that they feel that their rights are infringed on because of a failure of the authorities in the local municipality to provide them with services. Let me talk to some of the community members and hear their view following the President's speech this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us at Newsroom. We've heard the President in particular talking a lot about issues of service delivery here, to say that corruption is the one that is delaying progress. What do you have to say, because you know your issues here, in particular the issue of water and sanitation?
Yeah, indeed, the President is correct, Bafedile. Most of the things in the municipality are being derailed by lack of financial management in our municipality. There is lack of skills with regard to finances. And in most cases, most of the people who are responsible for finances, they do not follow proper protocols. They do not, in actual sense, follow the PFMA as it states to them. So they are doing things as they wish. They do not actually care a lot about what should happen as per the IDP, as per the plans that they are putting in place. So it's like they are doing things willy-nilly, haphazardly, without actually following the program that they have as planned out in the municipality.
Well, Tembeki, let me get a view of Mr. Kari here. He's also a community member here. Sir, we know your issue of water and sanitation. We saw the Ratepayers Association even taking the matter to the Northwest High Court. Where we are today, you're still struggling. What do you have to say following what the President said, to say that people must be held accountable?
Yes, correctly, the President is correct to uphold the constitution of the country, because, you know, there will be nothing about us without us. So in terms of the way the President indicated, we are having so many problems that clearly indicate that, you know, the Constitution and the legislation is never followed in terms of your MFMA. That is very clear that when dealing with the public funds, what is that we have to do? We are having a burning issue as we are speaking around this municipality, particularly at the Department of Health, where there is 100 million which was issued for the building of the school. But this community has been going up and down to the extent that we spoke personally to the MEC for Health, asking him about this issue. Until today, the MEC has promised us that he will come back, but never come back to us. And this is a clear indication that our officials are never hands-on, and they are very ignorant towards the Constitution. As the President is saying, the Constitution is our shield. But here, it seems as if, no, the Constitution is something else.
Are you hopeful, though, following what the President has said?
Yes, I'm very much hopeful, because I think we are here with the community who has heard the President himself saying we must take people hands-on. We must make sure as this community that we become part of everything that happens.
Well, thank you so much. Those are the sentiments on the ground here at Tembekile. Community members sharing their frustrations, but however, they're saying that they're hopeful after the President's visit in Koster. This is one of the municipalities that were placed in administration in the previous term, and we understand at this point in time it is under Section 1395, which means that they need financial support from the provincial government as well as the national government financially. So as it stands, Tembekile, the situation in this particular place, after spending some time here, it's really a dire state of affairs. And we spoke to the municipality mayor here, who has also indicated that they are trying their level best. But we've heard the President indicating that corruption, it is the root of all the issues that the community have to suffer at the ultimate end, Tembekile.
And Bafedile, the area where you are also came up in the President's address, I beg your pardon, as far as racism is concerned, because in 2008, Johan Now, a white teenager, killed 4 black people, including an infant at the time, the president saying it was a reminder that apartheid may have died, but racism in this country is still alive and well. I wonder what the status of race relations is there now.
Well, but at this point in time, racial tensions, we understand there's tolerance in community members. This incident, in fact, it happened there in 2008 when Johan Nel shot a number of community members in a place called Skirlek, which currently is known as Mazista. He randomly shot those people, and 4 of them lost their lives instantly. 11 of them had to survive. So those are the issues that he gave an example to say that at this point in time, that issue, in fact, has showed South Africa that there's a lot that still needs to be done, in particular in relation to race in this particular country. Has also indicated that there's still a long way to go in South Africa looking into racial differences. Black people or black community, it is still suffering, but he has called on all South Africans to unite and be one thing to ensure that at the ultimate we better each other in achieving all the good things that would uplift the South Africans and make South Africa a good country.
Moerane, thank you for that. Let's wrap up with you, Pelane Phakgadi, also in the Northwest. I want to ask you about the President's condemnation this afternoon for Operation Dudula. He said that the country, yes, wants everyone to be in this country and work lawfully, but he has condemned organizations going and basically raiding certain spaces to find undocumented migrants.
Well, not only that, Thembekile, he did also mention that the people that hire undocumented migrants also are maybe fueling a chaos in the country at this particular stage and urging against it, and is further saying that what it needs to be done is that all proper processes has to be followed when people are following are coming into the country, and people who are willing to hire people, they must also follow all the labor regulations, ensure that people are documented in the country, and of course ensure that they are going to be following all the labor processes when they do come through. Because the main aim and the main reason we are found by a number of researchers when people do hire undocumented migrants is that they are able then to extort some kind of workmanship from them. They are able to work without even paying them the basic salaries, and that also is a trample upon a human right, because just because you are going to be looking at the fact that somebody is not legally occupying some space in the country, therefore you can go ahead and just go about trampling upon their basic human rights when looking at the labor relations. So the president quite very much vocal as far as that is concerned, and calling on people really to look at a civil way of living with people and ensure that when they do hire people, they hire those who are legally in the country. So it's not only speaking about the issue around race, or the issue around nationality, say hire only South Africans. I think it is very much important to clarify that the president was just merely mentioning the fact that those who should be hired should be those who are legally in the country, and that has been going to show what the Operation Dudula and other organizations have been going and fouling about, saying that what they are all actually just looking for, Thembekile, is a matter that people who are in the country should be documented, and the laws around the Border Management Authority should be coming into law and into effect as a matter of urgency, so that could be able to be dealt with. And the Border Management Authority, as Aaron Motsoaledi, as the Minister of Home Affairs, should be able to ensure that comes into effect as a matter of urgency as well, so that it can aid this particular situation and the so-called chaos that the president was talking about, that it can be prevented. Thembi?
Pelane, thank you very much for that. We also spoke to Bafedile and Moerane. They're both in Koster in the Northwest, where President Cyril Ramaphosa has just been speaking, delivering the National Human Rights Day message.